Hey everyone, how you doing today? And welcome back to the Dropped in 3 channel. And today's a special day because we're going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And for once, I'm talking about the MCU movie and I'm actually smiling. So you know it's a flipping good movie. So if you like anime, movies, gaming, please subscribe to this channel because I talk about that. I give reviews on movies and, well, I haven't done any games yet. I will do soon, hopefully, for a big game that I'm still far behind in. But other than that, right, I do talk about movies, reviews of movies, reviews of TV shows, reviews of anime, and I also do a podcast for anime called the Dropped in 3 podcast. Episode 2 will come out this either Sunday or Monday. I'm not too sure yet. So please look forward to that, and I'm super excited for you to check that out. And thank you very much for coming onto this channel. Now, to get straight into it, this is a review or a full review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. How these full reviews work is that I give a brief 1 minute or 2 minute quick non-spoiler summary about what I thought of the movie to just give you quick, I like this movie, I didn't like this movie, etc. And then afterwards, I'm going to go full, it's going to be a full review, so I'm going straight into spoilers. We're going to be talking everything about the movie that I liked, didn't like, etc. Well, with allocated time, obviously. If I really wanted to do that, we'll be here for like hours. So we're gonna do it in the allocated like 30 minutes to an hour or so, and we're gonna have a fun time. So this one is gonna be a long. I can tell that this is gonna be an actual like long review because we got so many characters to talk about and so many things we got to talk about. So to start off, let's get on with a quick summary. What did I think about the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? I thought that this movie was absolutely fantastic. I think that this is the best MCU movie. And the reason why I say that, even more than Guardians 1, because Guardians 1, right, is actually damn like, if you rewatch Guardians 1, it's really well made. Really, really well made. So with Guardians 3, even though the plot of 3, I wouldn't say is... the plot itself, right? Not the story, the plot itself. I wouldn't say is as good as the Guardians Volume 1. But in terms of everything else, man, Volume 3 is absolutely insane. I would say the music is fire. It's the most emotional and depressing movie in the MCU, period. I would even, not even just Guardians, MCU, period. I don't think I can think of a movie as dark and depressing as this one. I would say the character development is done very, very well. And I'd say standout performances is Bradley Cooper's Rocket Raccoon and Chukwudi Iwuji as High Evolutionary, my Nigerian brother. And High Evolutionary, Chukwudi Iwuji's High Evolutionary is probably the best villain in the MCU period. And this movie basically just illustrates what we've all known, in that James Gunn is a talented director and he's here to stay. All in all, man, I gave it a review. I gave it a score of a 9 out of 10 on my channel. This is what I give the highest MCU movies. I still don't think there's an actual MCU movie that I can give a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10 yet. I'm still waiting for that movie. But this was a close one for a 9.5. I won't even lie to you. This was very, very well made. Very sound, very good. And I am looking forward to the future of the Guardians of the Galaxy, even though the way they ended a lot of character arcs here. So don't expect a lot of these characters to be back. But I am looking forward to the future of the Guardians. I don't know how they're going to do it without James, but that's for them to know. That's for Marvel to figure out. So all in all, fantastic movie. Go watch this. Watch it twice. Oh, another thing though, which I didn't say in my review, which I probably should have said. I should have said this in my review. I completely forgot. I'm now remembering it. If you are an animal lover, right, I wouldn't watch this movie. If you are a child, I wouldn't watch this movie because this movie is dark. Okay, it's dark, and if especially with stuff with animal cruelty and stuff, this movie will scare some people 100%, and it will also put some people on edge 100%. Because even me, I'm not like an animal lover like that. I love animals, but I'm not like an animal savior or anything. And I also don't get scared from stuff like not like that anymore. About creepy stuff. Like, I don't know how to describe it without spoiling the movie. But basically, I'll say it in a couple minutes, but I don't usually get scared of stuff like that. But it was very unnerving. So I was looking at this and I was like, this is Disney, right? This is Disney. I couldn't believe it for a second. So yeah, I will say that. Trigger warnings. But other than that, fantastic movie. And I'm looking forward to talking about it. Spoilers. So if you have not watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, please click off because I'm about to spoil this movie. In about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going straight into full spoilers now. So yeah. Okay, first off, let's talk about the main gist of the movie, which was Rocket Raccoon. Rocket Raccoon. This movie is essentially a Rocket Raccoon movie. It's an origin story, and to be well, not origin story, but it's a Rocket Raccoon movie. And James Gunn did say when he was coming back to Volume 3 that one of the reasons why he was really wanted to come back for Volume 3 was Rocket Raccoon. That it's his favorite character, and he wanted to explore more about him and his character. And I'm really happy that we got that as a further movie. And I like the way they did his character as well and how it all ended. But to start off with the beginning, the way they started off this movie with Rocket Raccoon playing creep, I was like, yeah, we're gonna cry. Like straight away, as soon as that happened and the name started popping up on screen, I just knew we were gonna cry because that was sad. Because especially because I rewatched Guardians literally just like 2 days ago or 3 days ago. So if you remember that scene when Rocket is like fighting Drax and he's complaining because he's drunk and he's like, oh my god, like not oh my god, but he says, what did he say again? That you guys are just keep on calling me names that I didn't ask to be taken apart over and over again and put together again, and then you call me a rodent, no, you call me a monster, you call me a freak. And after watching this movie, I'm like, oh, I hate, like when Creep played, that was when I said it reminded me of that scene, and I was just sad. I was like, God, this is so sad. Because you're seeing poor little Rocket. Rocket is a raccoon, man, trying to like survive this world, and he's just being like not like criticized but ridiculed for his appearance. And yeah, man, I just felt so upset for him. So moving on to that, we're in Nowhere. And I know we had the holiday special which explained about Nowhere, but I kind of wish we got a little, I mean, maybe I missed it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's in What If or something. I don't know. But I wish we got like at least either a movie or a special or at least like 10 minutes into Thor Ragnarok to explain how the Guardians bought Nowhere. Like, did I miss something? I mean, correct me in the comments. I don't think I missed anything, right? Because Nowhere was bought by the Guardians as their HQ. That was news to me before the holiday special. Then on top of that, right? Cosmo. I know, okay, it took me a while to even remember that Cosmo was actually cameo Guardians, because when I saw Cosmo in the holiday special, I was like, when did you get a talking dog? When did this happen? But then when I rewatched Guardians and I saw him, I was like, her. I was like, oh, right, Cosmo. I'm like, oh, Cosmo. So there was there was definitely some adventures that happened that I kind of wish we got a bit more, and I won't even lie to you. But hey, we got limited time. It is what it is. I can't complain too much about that. But anyway, back to the actual plot. When we found out that Rocket was Adam Warlock drops in. And the way Adam Warlock drops in was one of the funniest character interactions I've seen. My guy literally just rocks up and just starts beefing. Like, just starts some stuff, bro. Like, he didn't even care. He just walked in and said, time to beat some ass. Like, I was just like, whoa, how can someone just come and rock up and beat you on sight? No questions, no warnings. It's just, and it was very funny. And I forgot the song they played while Adam Warlock was flying in the air, but it was so cool, man. I'm not even gonna lie. That whole sequence was actually a lot of fun. And also, before even Adam Warlock drops, we see Peter Quill basically depressed as hell over Gamora, which makes sense. After rewatching Guardians again, I realized, okay, yeah, Peter actually cared a lot about Gamora, because when I thought about it, I was originally like, man, get over Gamora, but he really cared, I won't even lie. So seeing him depressed, and the fact that the body that Nebula carried was fake, I can't believe that Disney had money to be able to make a real life body like that. But yeah, that was very interesting, and also the shot was also really cool as well. But sorry, I don't really want to go straight into the plot beat by bit in terms of the plot, because we'll be here all day. But essentially, right, the whole Nowhere bit was a lot of fun, and it was really nice to see Nowhere again, especially after the holiday special. I do kind of, that's one gripe I'll take. I wish we got a little bit of more explanation as to how and why. Like, how they bought Nowhere, why they bought Nowhere. I wish there was some more explanations on that. But hey, it is what it is. But let's go by let's go and talk about characters, because I know what will happen. I feel like if I don't do characters one by one, we're gonna be here for ages. So let's start off with Rocket. Actually, I'll save Rocket for later because we've got to talk about his backstory, about how it ended, and all that. So Peter Quill, right? I already briefly touched upon it in terms of how he's missing Gorora and all that. And I was like, oh, I'll get over it with more. Here's my not issue. Here's my thing about Peter Quill's character in the MCU. Because Guardians Peter Quill is way better than Avengers Peter Quill. Avengers Peter Quill is like weird because like he's kind of not stupid. Stupid is the wrong word I'd use, but he's just not as, he doesn't have as much common like sense, like actual like, I wouldn't say common sense, but he doesn't have like, he's just not like the same. Like, that's the word I would use, the same. Because I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Volume 3 Quill would not have made the mistake that Quill made with Thanos. I really don't think so. And that's why when I came back and I was watching this Peter Quill, it felt refreshing. Because I was so used to that Peter Quill that messed up and destroyed the galaxy. Ironic, right? As a Guardian of the Galaxy. But yeah, so I was just, it left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, especially seeing Peter Quill over and over again. I was like, oof, but you kind of destroyed the galaxy over a woman. Like, bruv, you know what I mean? So, but seeing him in this movie, I love the way he was very much himself, a leader, and trying to make the Guardians, still like, hey, let's not kill people, trying to be a bit more responsible. Where was this Peter Quill in Avengers? I don't know. But the way it ended and the fact that, first off, the Mantis and his sister thing, right? Imagine if someone didn't watch the holiday special. They would be so confused. Like, because as soon as you walk into this, like what? A couple minutes onto nowhere, he just goes, oh, man, he's talking to Mantis and he's like, oh, because you're my sister, right? Imagine if you didn't watch a holiday special, you'd be like, wait, Mantis is Peter Quill's sister? What? Like, you know what I mean? So, thank God I watched that. Thank God. But what was I trying to say? Essentially, the whole feeling of Quill missing something, and then Mantis is like, hey, why don't you fill that in with your family? Even though I'm your sister, you left your family on Earth. Why don't you go and check up on them? And it makes sense because Peter Quill has been on Earth. Has he? Wait, no, sorry. He has been on Earth. Sorry, he has been on Earth for the final fight. Why has he not checked up on his family? Why is he not, like, it's very valid questions. So, seeing the way his character arc ended, with him finishing off with the Guardian, saying, hey, do you know what? I do want to go back and check on my family. I mean, he can go to Earth. He just doesn't. So why not go to Earth and see my family and see my granddad who I left? And even the way he explained about how his granddad left. Because yet again, from rewatching Guardians very recently, his granddad didn't really do anything wrong. He was just, it's just Peter was in shock because his mom has died. So he just ran off and he got abducted. So the fact he was able to rekindle with the granddad was very, very heartfelt, very sweet moment. And at the end credits, when they said that Star-Lord was going to return and he's him with his granddad, I wonder how. Are we going to get like a Peacemaker version of Star-Lord going to get a Peacemaker show? Like he's with his granddad and all that, trying to get his family back, like try to, not that. I guess Peacemaker try to like impress his dad or say, hey dad, love me. But maybe he does the same thing with his granddad and he goes on Star-Lord adventures. I would love to see how Star-Lord like reacts to like trying to be a normal human in normal life and try and get a job and stuff. That would be super interesting, even as a Disney Plus show. So I am excited about that. Gamora, right? I said this in my review, but Gamora is the one character where I'm very weird on, and it's not James's fault. It's not, unless it was his plan for how Gamora happened or how Gamora's story happened in Infinity War and Endgame. Those are the only reasons where I'll be like, all right, James, yeah, I wish you did this better. But other than that, yeah, if it wasn't really his fault about how the whole Soul Stone thing happened, Gamora's character's a bit weird. I think James Gunn wrote as well as he could for the circumstances of her character, but the fact that we've gone 2 movies with Gamora and then, no, not 2 plus Infinity War with Gamora, and then we go into Endgame with a completely different Gamora that just missed the whole of the Guardians of the Galaxy development. Like the whole of that development is just gone, just vanished. And it's a shame because I would have loved to see Gamora after Thanos is dead have that whole character arc just be fulfilled. Like, I'm like trying to. She was turning from a warrior princess who was relying on trying to survive in Thanos's family to a person who found a brand new family, found a place to belong, found home. Changed. All that is just gone out of the wazoo, and I feel a bit weird about it because I would have loved to see Gamora end her story with the Guardians. But the way it ended with her having a family, but it being the Ravagers, I'm okay with that. As long as she has a family, I'm cool with that. Because that was the whole point of Gamora's story, right? Was that Thanos has basically robbed her from her family and she found a new family with the Guardians. So the fact that she has a family with the Ravagers, that's why I said, okay, fine, James Gunn, do you know what? It's cool enough. It's fine. You did a good job here. But it was weird. A lot of the movie, it was very weird trying to associate Gamora as a Guardian because it's a completely different. Like, she doesn't even wear the Guardian's uniform and all. And I understand why, because she's not a Guardian. But after all that development, it was so weird. Like, for example, like towards the end when all the Guardians are hugging each other and Gamora's like, "Ooh, I don't know what to do here." It's like, it makes sense that of course she'll be like that because she's not like had that development. But it's weird because what was the point of the two films of development? You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm weird about Gamora's character. I'm not even gonna lie, but I do like the way they handled the whole Peter Quill moving from Gamora. I like that. I like the fact that Peter just realized, listen, this is a completely different girl. Let her have her own life. Like, she's already suffered enough because of Thanos. She's finally free from Thanos. Like, that was a whole point. Like, that was a whole thing. She wants to be free from Thanos, even with or without the Guardians. Let her just have a good ass time and have her own life. And he fell in love with somebody else. So at least there's that, and I could understand it. And I'm like, you know what? Fair enough. I'm cool with it. Gamora can retire with the Ravagers. I'm cool with it. I wish we got more with the Ravagers. I know we saw Sylvester Stallone's Ravagers a tiny bit in Guardians Volume 2. I wish we saw more in Volume 3, but hey, maybe it will detract from the overall story, so I'm not complaining too much about that. Moving on from Gamora, we go to Drax. I love the way they ended with Drax, because Drax... Oh, there's another thing I need to mention, which I didn't mention in my review, actually, which I'll mention with Drax. I like the way that Drax ended as a dad. Just, he was good at being a dad, and he was even talking about his daughter and all that. Like, James Gunn really tied up some loose ends very, very well, and yeah, let Drax have a family again, because he didn't get to kill Thanos, he didn't get to kill the Ronin. Let him at least, like, have what he lost, which was his wife and kids. Let him at least have some kids, man, some family, and let him learn, like, let him go back to that mode. And because for the past, like, couple movies, Drax has been very, very chilled, like, compared to Volume 1. I mean, Volume 1, he was taking things literally, I know, but he was very, very, like, you could tell he had revenge on his mind. But Volume 2 and 3, it's different. I mean, granted, in Infinity War, he did kind of make the same mistake and say, "Hey, Thanos, I'm gonna kill you," but but at least his whole revenge arc is over. He can rest. But there was one point in this movie. Okay, two things actually. First, I thought Drax and Mantis were going to get together because they were together too much. Even though I thought it was a brother and sister type of relationship, because they were together so much, I just assumed maybe that's what they were hinting at. But I'm kind of glad they left it as a brother and sister thing, so I'll leave that at that. Then another thing, in the scene when the Guardians were trying to get the code, or the code to get to turn off the kill switch for Rocket. That whole scene with the Among Us type looking spacesuits and in space and all that, and the flesh looking security and all that, right? I genuinely thought Drax was gonna die. Oh my god, this movie, I won't even lie, it got me emotionally distressed. I won't even lie. There were 3 times when I thought characters were going to die. One was Drax in that scene. I genuinely thought Drax was gone. I was like, oh my flipping god. Like, they popped him once. They did the camera thing. I was like, Drax, oh my god. So, yeah, that was one. Another one was when Quill almost died in space. Another one was when Rocket was looking at the afterlife and looking at Lila and said, "Can I come?" I was like, "Can I come?" I almost cried. I was like, Jesus. So, yeah, I like, people might complain about that and be like, James Gunn tried to fake out death like numerous amounts of times. It was actually getting a bit much, but it got me. I won't lie, it got me on edge, and that's what movies should do, right? So there's that. So Drax, man, I'm so happy he didn't die. I'm so happy because the way I thought he was gonna get popped off the way he did. Like, boy, that was traumatic. I won't even lie to you. So speaking of Drax, let's move on to Mantis. Before I get to Nebula, let's move on to Mantis. I love the way Mantis is developed, man. Mantis started off very like, hi guys, how are you? Very, quiet spoken. And she ended up thinking for herself. And that was the point of Mantis's character, right? Was that she was a person that didn't really understand the world like that, and also a person that was following ego all her life. It was just ego, 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 ego. And she didn't really get to learn about herself and become herself. So I love the way it ended with her saying, listen, I want to just go on a journey and figure out myself. And that's what people should do, right? And it made sense for Mantis. But in this movie, I love how Mantis, like from I would say from volume 2, each movie, even in the Avengers movies, you can see that Mantis is becoming more stronger, trying to make her presence known, make her presence useful, being more in tune, being like not relevant, but the word is growing as a character essentially, and being more beneficial towards the Guardians. This movie, she was so helpful, and the fact that she took charge and was essentially acting a bit motherly at times was so shocking, because you wouldn't think Mantis as the voice of reason, but she voice of reason a lot in this movie. So I'll give credit to Mantis. She grew so well. This is what I mean by James Gunn is so good at writing characters, because Mantis is now a fan favorite, man. So damn good. Moving on, Nebula. Nebula is such an interesting one, because I love Nebula now. Like, I flipping love Nebula. And maybe the reason why Gamora was left the way she was is that Nebula got what Gamora not should have had, but you would expect to have. Because if you think about Nebula and Gamora, they've got a lot of similarities, obviously because they're sisters and all, but they both have been abused basically by Thanos in terms, or brought up badly by Thanos in terms of how to survive, how to take over, because he's a conqueror, he's an evil person. So Gamora has just been, Nebula has just been suffering over and over again, and especially how she suffered based off the new sister that she got, as she always wanted, because her sister would always beat her in combat because her sister's trying to survive, as she just keeps on getting her body parts replaced one by one. Thanos was actually very evil to Nebula. I mean, does anyone remember in Infinity War where they just opened up Nebula just cause? That's his daughter, for flip's sake. Like, yeah, Nebula suffered. Imagine being a biological daughter and then just taking constant L's from your adoptive daughter. Not just L's in terms of getting your ass beat, but also in terms of daddy's love. It's just L's, just constant. Nebula suffered, and the fact that James Gunn wanted her to start off from being this villain to turn into a Guardian was really, really well done. And I love the way that it happened in the whole of her character arc, in the whole of the MCU. From part 1, where she's just on edge and just angry, and then volume 2, when they had that moment, her and Gamora, when they had that moment after fighting, when Nebula said all you wanted was to win, all I wanted was a sister. And after all her suffering, you could understand why she is the way she is, in terms of how she's so angry, hates the world, like just not having a good life. It was very, very interesting. So coming on to Infinity War, obviously, with the whole, how everything happened with Gamora, that changed her. And I think that was when the family, the shift in dynamic happened kind of in volume 2, right? But I'd say her turning into this person that cares about her family more, I think that was like, Infinity War was the real shift, because you can tell in the holiday special and in volume 3 that these guys are her family. That she'll do anything to protect them. Because if you think about it, in Endgame, the way she was fighting tooth and nail to help the Avengers to save everyone, you could tell that she really had to, like, not even just saving people. I think she mainly wanted to save the Guardians. I feel like she had finally had her family in a place where she belongs, or she could belong, and that was being robbed from her dad. I have to get that back. So but yeah, to get to the point at hand, yeah, volume 3 was just Nebula enjoying, like, Nebula was so chilled, and that's what we've always wanted. We wanted Nebula to just relax and have fun with her family, have a good life, like just chill, just get taken care of, So her in this movie just fighting tooth and nail to help her family, even understanding each person and each guardian. Like it was so like the Nebula has developed so well, and I'm so happy for her. Like she's, like towards the end of the movie when Dog Days are playing, Dog Days, that whole scene was absolutely a tearjerker. By the way, that was really sad and emotional. But her just being on Nowhere, saying I want to help lead in Nowhere, her just having fun. I was so happy. I wanted to give her a hug, man. She suffered all this time and she finally found happiness, man. Finally found what she wanted in the family, love and happiness. And yeah, over the moon for her. So man, we've gone almost 25 minutes and I still have a couple more characters. So I'll save Rocket for last because Rocket is a big one. I think I'm gonna go with Kraglin next. Kraglin, yeah, Kraglin. If you don't know who Kraglin is, just in case you don't remember, but Kraglin, the guy with the horn, essentially. I love Kraglin. Who would have thought that Kraglin would become like? I just thought Kraglin was just, just Yondu's sidekick. Kraglin became such a baller, bro. Like, yeah, he doesn't do like that much, but because he has to protect Nowhere and all that, but he came into his own. He finally learned how to use Yondu's arrow after he said many years ago, just use heart. That whole scene of him just taking out all those enemies, sweet, man, just absolute sweet. So I love the fact that he grew into the character, like he grew into essentially, and he even seeing Yondu again, like by Michael Rocket, seeing him again and him having the flashback saying, okay, I'm gonna turn into you. Like, oh, it was so beautiful, man, so damn good. And Cosmo. Okay, before I get to Adam Warlock, let's talk about Cosmo. Cosmo, right? Yet again, right? I was like, I didn't know Cosmo. Okay, granted, I know Cosmo is a Guardian, yeah, but I didn't know Cosmo would be this relevant in. Well, I should have known. I mean, what am I saying? I didn't expect Cosmo to be the way Cosmo was introduced. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is the way Cosmo is introduced, not introduced, but the way Cosmo, the actual talking Cosmo is introduced, and the way Cosmo is. I kind of wish yet again we had a whole explanation as to why Cosmo is here. Like, when, I mean, granted, I know there's a what if, so maybe that's where it is, but I would have loved to see a story of, hey, the Guardians said, let's recruit Cosmo, and Cosmo was like, yeah, man, let's go. But I love Cosmo. Cosmo is such a lovely character. I wish Cosmo was a Guardian from Volume 2, honestly, because I would have loved to see the hijinks from Cosmo, Rocket, and Groot. Granted, based off, obviously this is a spoilers part, but based off the way the Guardians ended and the way the new team is, we're going to see that, so that's good. But I would have loved to see that earlier, because I feel like the dynamics would have been fun, especially when I saw Cosmo in the holiday special. I just fell in love straight away. I was like, yeah, man, I love you, man. Like I love Cosmo, and the Russian accent and everything. Like, bro, oh man, I love Cosmo. So looking forward to more from Cosmo. He's definitely she, right? She's definitely gonna be a very interesting character to see in the future. So love Cosmo. Before I get to Adam Warlock, Groot just Groots this movie, man. That's all I can say. Groot, there wasn't anything special or different. Groot was Grooting, man, and Groot was lit. Oh yeah, sorry. Last thing, actually, there was one special thing. Groot used words in a sentence. He said, "I love you guys." Hearing Vin Diesel's voice like proper say sentences was a bit weird. I was like, am I watching Fast and Furious? Like, what happened? Like, why is Groot saying proper sentences? Not "we love Groot," not "I am Groot." He said, "I love you guys," bro. Oh man, and I'm not gonna lie, it did hit. I would like, who would have thought Vin Diesel would hit me hard with his voice like that? I'm not even gonna lie. Okay, so Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock was a weird one for me because at first, yeah, when I came out of the cinema, I was like, I liked Adam Warlock. I did like Adam Warlock, but I was just like, aren't you meant to be a bit more like, menacing? Like, I mean, granted, Adam Warlock is a hero, yeah, and he's a Guardian. He's from the comics, he's the Guardian. But when you hear Adam Warlock, I mean, this is the guy, like, in canon who has what I think is the Soul Stone in his head. I'm expecting a pretty, like, scary-ass dude. But the way he was explained in the movie made sense because he's literally born out of nowhere and he has his mom and his mom is his emotional attachment. He's imprinted himself in his mom. So it makes sense that Adam Warlock would act the way he is. So technically, James Gunn did actually a fantastic job with Adam Warlock, to be honest with you, and also Will Poulter. Will Poulter killed it as Adam Warlock. I'm super excited to see more, obviously because he joined the Guardians, but I am very, very, very excited to see Adam Warlock hold it down with the Guardians, because yeah, I'm not gonna lie, he was kind of needed, because the way the Guardians have been, the way most of that team is just depleted now. Like he's needed. I'm not gonna lie. So, but I love how like childish he was. Like there were so many times where I was just there like laughing and just like, oh my god, Adam, you're such a big child, man. And that was the point. And that's why I was just there dying. And Will Poulter just sells it, especially with. He would be like, "Mummy, what was that? Was that the right thing to do?" And to be fair, yeah. To be fair, there's a Sovereign. Sorry, I've always been. Is it the Sovereign? The Sovereign. Sorry, I've always been a bunch of memes since Volume 2. So, seeing them come back, especially Aisha. Aisha is such a meme. So seeing him act like that, it just made a lot of sense. And I'm excited to see more from Adam Warlock. High Evolutionary. Before we get to Rocket, High Evolutionary. We've gone 30 minutes in. We still haven't talked about James Gunn and some other stuff. So, High Evolutionary, Chuduchi. I can't believe I can't say my Nigerian brother's name well. Chukwudi Iwuji. I'm assuming, is he Igbo? He must be Igbo, right? Chukwudi. Wait, why am I saying Chukwudi like that? Chukwudi. I know that name. What am I saying? Anyway, so Chukwudi Iwuji, right? So talented. So flipping. I was going to say flipping and I swore as well in between. But anyway, he's talented, right? High Evolution was damn scary, especially with the fact that he wanted to make the perfect society, right? And which is weird because wasn't that the reason for Adam Warlock being made, to make the perfect human? I mean, I think I believe they did. I mean, they did say the High Evolutionary made Adam Warlock in this movie, but in terms of like the movie Adam Warlock, and so I guess it does technically relate. But you would have thought that a High Evolutionary would be. I mean, maybe I'm tripping here because, to be fair, he sent Adam Warlock to go and get Rocket Raccoon because he needed Rocket. So I'm tripping. Forget what I said. But High Evolution is really, really, really menacing in terms of he wants to make perfect humans. Okay, sorry, no, yes. Now I remember why I was trying to say it. Adam Warlock is basically almost what he wanted, right? Except for him acting like a child. Isn't that what isn't Adam Warlock basically at? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. But very menacing. He was very scary. The fact that he's testing on these animals and even just the way he treats these animals. Like, look at them. Like, even though they were having fun and smiling, well, they weren't having fun, obviously. They weren't, because we'll talk about it in the Rocket section. We'll definitely, because we've got a lot to talk about in terms of Rocket. But yeah, just like people like them, like villains that want perfection are quite scary. Hence why I think the scariest, like some of the scariest villains in like media are usually stuff like robots and AI, because they just want the most perfect thing, and they're gonna do anything they can in order to get that. They're very relentless in that, and that's how I felt like the High Evolutionary was. Very robotic, even though he wasn't a robot. So that's why he was menacing as crap to me, because I knew that Rocket and his friends were finished. If he's like, I don't need you, you're useless to my experiments, I knew, yeah, you're done. You're getting killed. And we'll talk about that more in this Rocket section. But I'm super excited to see more from Chukwudi Iwuji. He's very, like, he was amazing at Peacemaker, and he was amazing in High Evolutionary in Guardians Volume 3. So he needs to get in way more projects. I'm expecting to see in way more things. But overall, man, very scary character. Very, very easy to hate this character. That's how you knew he did a good job. Very easy, most hated character in MCU history, probably. And I kind of wish he stayed. Oh, yeah, the way he died was vicious. Very vicious. The fact that his face literally came off. Yet again, I was like, this is a Disney movie, right? Like, I was literally like, this is a Disney, right? Because his face was off. Just hanging. Oh, god damn. The way the face is even, skin was even peeled. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it was kind of nasty. So there's that. So moving on to the High Evolution, let's talk about Rocket. We're going to end this review, well, not end, but soon, in about maybe like 10 minutes. We're going to end this review on Rocket, James Gunn, and my roundup of the whole Marvel and all that. So Rocket Raccoon is the star of this movie. And who would have thought that this whole story, the whole Guardians of the Galaxy story, was actually a Rocket Raccoon story. Who would have thought? And it makes sense. I think, I don't know if I said it in this review or because I've gone 35 minutes in. I can't remember what I've just said, but I don't know if I said it in this review or my review earlier. But based off how the Guardians have been in the MCU in terms of how Peter Quill got dusted, Drax got dusted, most of the Guardians got dusted apart from, or Gamora got killed, apart from Nebula and Rocket. So that's why Nebula went gung-ho, try to save my sister, get my family back, all that. But Rocket, man, he's low-key, like, we never really thought about it. You don't know what's really been going inside of Rocket in terms of, like, depression-wise. Like, you don't know if he's mentally okay because he's lost his whole family that he'd worked so hard to get back. Like, even the way Groot, when he was like, oh, no, like, you know, the way he was crying over Groot was very, very sad. And based off how Guardians 1 and 2 ended, Rocket was the last character that needed that real shift to say, hey, this is my family. You know what I mean? Because Guardians 1 ended, and I think Peter Quill was like, this is my family. Gamora was like, this is my family. Drax was like, this, I can hang with these guys. Groot was like, this is my family. Rocket was more like, I can hang with these guys. I'm cool with them. Let's just see how it goes. Because Guardians 2 happens, and you see Rocket is still being a massive prick to everyone. Hence why Peter's like, you need to stop being an asshole and all that. And Rocket had that whole, like, a whole development scene. Wow, really and truly, now I think about it, this whole series has been about Rocket Raccoon. Because I just thought back to Volume 2, when Rocket had that scene with, I can't remember, Yondu. And Yondu's like, oh, you're worthless, you're a loser, you do this and that. And he lists all his flaws, and he says, the reason why you're like that is because you are me. I know you, and I'm bad too, and we've messed up too, and how we do bad. You know what I mean? So, all in all, like, Rocket has had the slowest development out of all the Guardians, and I feel like Volume 3 was just perfect. The way, and like, the way everything happened for Rocket just ended up with a perfect character at the end. That the fact that he is now the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy, it makes sense. Like, when they said, Rocket, this has been your story, and Peter was like, or I think, was it Peter that said that you're going to be the leader of the Guardians? I was like, this makes sense. Because Rocket Raccoon is a very important member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, him and Groot, yes. But Rocket has had so many trials and tribulations through this whole series. I mean, episode 1, accepting the fact that fine, let's try and make some friends. Episode 2, learning that he has to become a better man. Infinity War happens, and his friends go, and friend and family is basically dead. Endgame happens, and he's like, do you know what? I'm going to help my friends. I'm going to find my friends. He has this whole talk with Thor. He has like, and then coming on to the holiday special. But then Volume 3 happens. It's just so perfect, man. Like, the way his character went, oh, what beautiful writing. I think he might be the best written character in MCU over Tony Stark. I'm not gonna lie. It used to be Tony Stark and then sometimes Cap, but I think Rocket has definitely overtaken him because his story was told really well. Now, his backstory was so sad. Like, when Rocket came out and he said, like, Kid Rocket, and he's like, it hurts. Ah! Jesus. I was in pain, man. I was in pain. Like, this movie, I won't lie, is a very good way to get people to not be cruel to animals. I won't even lie, because I was so upset. Even the way Rocket even came out with all the loads of raccoons, and even towards the end when Rocket sees the raccoons and he's oh fam, this movie was absolutely insane in terms of character development. Oh, what a deep movie, bro. What an absolute deep movie. And I love how James Gunn, because Rocket Raccoon is my favorite character in Guardians of the Galaxy, even from Volume 1. From Volume 1, when I saw Rocket and he cracked a joke and said, did you get this guy's leg? I said, yeah, you're my favorite. 100%. I said, you're my favorite, man, straight away. But the fact he's also James Gunn's favorite, and the reason why he likes Rocket is because, I mean, anyone could correct me if I'm wrong here, is because he's such a flawed character and you can see himself in Rocket. You can see yourself in Rocket a lot. I understand 100% because I can see myself in Rocket. You can see a lot of, like, he's such a, like, the most depressed person. I think what James Gunn said is we're gonna make this guy the most depressed person in the galaxy if he's gonna be an animated character, and he really is because he's been just torn up, opened up, and disinfected left, right, and center. And what happens to his friends? Like, he got his friends. He said, we're going to have a good time. We're going to fly into the sky. Even the fact how he got his name Rocket, so sweet. Like, all of his friends were like, my name is Lila. Oh, Lila. Oh, my God. Oh, Rocket's friends. Let me not even think back to that. But when they said, oh, my name is Lila. Oh, I ain't on the floor because my name is Floor because I'm on the floor. My name is Teeth because I got teeth. And all these like animals who've been disinfected. Like, who would have thought I'd be emotionally upset for animals that have been chopped up and re-put back together? Like, dude, oh, mate. Because when you see these animals, when I first saw them, I was like, ew, what the But then, like, that initial shock, yeah, literally went straight away, and I just went into a state of just sadness. Especially, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this happens, and then I believe that's when the Creep song happens. Like, literally after this whole bit where they're like, oh, Lila, or no, oh shit, sorry, I'm wrong. That whole naming thing happened a bit further into the movie. But it starts off, Rocket gets taken away, the raccoon, they experimented it, he goes, it hurts, and then I think they go, that's when Lila licks a dirty rag and wipes it. Oh man, nah, this movie was emotionally deep because stuff like that, little moments like that, they had this movie a lot of these little sweet and heartfelt and just downright depressing movie moments in this movie. Because, like, for example, when they're all giving their name and it's getting all happy, and Rocket's like, do you know what, I want to take my friends to, I want to build I think he said to build a ship, but I think he said build a ship or build something, and then he wants to fly into the sky. We could all fly together with all my friends, and I want to be called Rocket. Dude, man, what a scene. That scene was so deep, man. Like, it was so beautiful. And seeing the fact that Rocket's friends got popped off the way they did, especially after they were like, oh, we're going to go to the new world and all that. Like, we all knew they weren't going to go to New World, but seeing his friends get popped off and Rocket crying, when Rocket screamed, I don't know if that was Bradley Cooper or somebody else, but when Rocket screamed, I felt that in my flipping soul. I did feel like I was watching anime, I won't lie, a little bit of me, but I felt that in my soul because his friends, his only friends in this very trash situation where they're getting cut up left, right, and center has been killed. And even the way the High Evolutionary got scratched up by Rocket, yet again, is this a Disney movie? Because I was like, woo! Woo! Because the blood was flying over his face. I was like, woo! I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, dude, what the hell is violent? But it made sense. I mean, damn, look at how Rocket was treated. So I don't blame him for doing what he did to the High Evolutionary and the way he got a face like that. But, man, overall, man, because I'm going on and on, I don't want to go too long about this. Overall, Rocket's backstory was very heartbreaking, very emotional. And I can understand why he was, had trust issues. Because when you see how the High Evolutionary deceived him for years, saying that you and your friends, you're all going to go to the new place. No, he didn't even say that, actually. But the fact that they had that assumption, and High Evolutionary was trying to be nice to them, I guess, or just, he was being cooperative. They didn't know, they were kids. But the fact that he was just such a, what do we call it? The fact he was such a monster and Rocket was able to overcome that is very good of him. And the fact his friends got popped off was very sad. Sorry. I got what I was trying to say now. Sorry, lost my train of thought for a split second. What I was trying to say is Rocket had trust issues based on the fact that High Evolutionary deceived, quote unquote, he didn't tell him, but he quote unquote deceived him into thinking that if he helped High Evolutionary will be able to take him and his friends to the new world and they'll all go together, right? So so I can understand why Rocket was on edge in terms of being friends with the Guardians. And to be honest with you, let's be real here, Rocket wouldn't be that much friends with Groot if it wasn't the fact that because Rocket is so damn smart, he knew he could control Groot, and he knew that if I could have this muscle because Groot is so strong, I will be safe in this galaxy. So that's why even with Volume 1, you can tell in the prison scene when Groot comes in, acting like the muscle from Rocket, and Rocket's just piping up saying, listen, you guys have to go through both of us, this, that. it makes sense, especially with his intelligent brain. So him finally getting his family, getting the Guardians, and just getting what he wanted. He wanted a group of friends that he could fly together. He got that in Guardians 1, but he didn't believe it, I think, until Volume 3. And like when he said that, when he said to Quill, "I'm done running," and he goes off to try and help all the kids, all the animals, he just said, "Nah, man, I'm gonna stop doing," like, because especially the way his character's been going, it's not like there was a single point where Rocket really went heroic like that. He was just doing it because, hey, screw it, let's just help out. But I'd say from like since Infinity War, Rocket has really matured. Bear in mind, that's another thing we need to mention. Rocket has had 5 years of experience, and that's another reason why he's probably very mature. But this grumpy, sad animal has finally become a man. I don't know. That's a weird way to say it, and what a way to do it, because Volume 3 was, I nearly cried so many times when Rocket was like, "Can I come too?" I can understand why, because his friends got killed because of him, and I could understand if he wanted to go out like that. I could understand if James Gunn wrote him to go out like that, but I'm so happy he got to live another day, because I was sweating for a second. One of the fake outs, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, overall, I don't know. I've been rambling for a couple of minutes about Rocket. But overall, man, thank you, James Gunn, for giving us a fantastic story. And thank you for giving us the best character arc in MCU history. So last but not least, I want to talk about James Gunn and some things that I noticed about the movie that I really found really impressive. Visually stunning, as usual. Like Guardians, since Volume 2 is actually mad underrated in terms of how stunning that was. So Volume 3, I was expecting to be beautiful, and it really was. But the one scene I have to talk about, before I get into proper talk about James, we got to talk about that hallway scene. The hallway scenes, you know when you see a hallway scene, you know it's about to be lit. But one cut. Oh, mate, James, when they did that whole scene in one cut, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was just going and going and going. I was like, wait, we're still going? And not in a bad way. In a, oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing what I'm seeing. Like the Guardians teaming up to beat ass. Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, man. That was one of the best scenes I've seen in MCU history, hands down. And last but not least, because we're going on to 47 minutes, Jesus Christ. Oh, sorry, guys. But James Gunn, man. James Gunn is so talented. He's so good at writing characters. And that's the main thing I'd say is the thing I've noticed the most of James Gunn in this last couple of movies and the holiday special. Characters, man. Flawed characters especially. He knows how to make you love the most crappiest characters. Like, even if he could probably get you to like a mass murderer, man. Like, he kind of has, to be honest with you. But he could get you to like the most hated person on the planet. James Gunn will probably make you to get you to sympathize with him. And that's a sign of a talented guy, man. And with the fact that this whole Rocket Raccoon story of Volume 3 was not hinted at, but it was his plan or is his mind since before Volume 1, and he told Bradley before Volume 1, is absolutely crazy. So all I can say is that in terms of for DC, I'm more than excited, because it tells me that the thing I want the most, character development, like that's my number one thing. If you want to impress me in something media wise, usually story is up there, but the number one thing for me is character development and characters, right? He keeps on elevating my expectations, man. So I know Superman Legacy is about to slap someone's mother, man. I know that the DC movies are about to be absolutely insane. The ones that he executive produced and has proper control over. I'm super excited, especially the fact that he said that the most important thing in terms of DC Studios movies is story. Story is number one. And the fact that he writes, he knows how important that is. So all I can say is the future of DC is beautifully bright, especially how I'm hearing The Flash was actually pretty damn good. So that's exciting. Even though Ezra Miller, we can talk about that another day. But yeah, man, MCU, I don't know how I feel about the MCU yet, because the way they ended the stories of these characters was really good, right? I love the fact that Peter Quill got his dad, rekindled with his granddad. Gamora met up with the Ravagers. Drax became a dad. Nebula became the leader of Nowhere, or Guardians HQ, I guess. What, Nowhere, or the people of Nowhere. Kraglin is Kraglin. I guess I don't even know how Crackling ended, to be honest with you. Cosmo is part of the Guardians. Adam Warlock is part of the Guardians. Rocket is the leader of the Guardians. Groot is part of the Guardians. One of the people that was saved on that. Turns out, one of the girls that was saved on that ship is actually a very important character. Oh, hold on. I think I have it on my laptop here. Like a super important character. No, wait, where was it? She played, yeah. Man. Daughter of Marvel. If you don't remember Marvel, that was Jude Law's character in Captain Marvel. That's what I mean. Like, these are some big boy characters I'm seeing. So the Guardians are pretty stacked. I would like. Actually, now I think about it, I think the Guardians might be more powerful now than they were before. They are more powerful now. Adam Warlock alone clears a lot of the guys. He actually cleared the Guardians in the movie. So I guess they are way more powerful. But there's that. So the way the character, Mantis is on her journey. So the way the characters ended was fantastic, right? Oh man, I lost my train of thought again. I don't remember now. The way the characters ended were fantastic. So yeah, it's fine on that. But do I trust MCU without James Gunn to take care of these characters? I'm half and half on that. And then on top of that, James Gunn is moving to DC. So this is the last Marvel project he's doing ever. Unless, pretty much ever. He's going to be a DC man from now on, owning it. And see, this is the reason why, this is the difference between a James Gunn and a Kevin Feige. And this is why I'm a little bit scared. Kevin Feige is an executive producer, yeah, but James Gunn is an actual writer, an actual director, on top of being an executive producer. So he knows way more about the filmmaking, understanding about the filmmaking process and how to make very, very good movies. Because if you see his track record since Guardians 1, it's been all hits, no misses. All hits, at least 8 out of 10, all of them. So I'm a little looking at Marvel like, oof, man. This was your best movie since No Way Home. And bear in mind, No Way Home was a multiverse movie. I've already explained No Way Home is hype, is the reason why that movie is as good as it is. Guardians of the Galaxy is James Gunn's final movie for MCU. So what is going to be the movie that's going to get a 9 out of 10 that is going to carry this franchise forward? I have absolutely no idea, and I don't have faith in anything. Apart from maybe Secret Wars looks cool. That's about it. Maybe Deadpool, if they get the right, because Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds won't mess up with that talent, so he'll get the right talent for Deadpool. Other than those things, I can't really. Everything else is still up in the air, so we're gonna have to wait and find out and see. But DC is looking great. I'm excited for Superman Legacy. That's gonna absolutely slap, and I think I'm gonna my love for MCU, that whole phase of MCU, that MCU phase was some of the best phase of my life. Seeing an MCU movie in the phase of 1, 2, 3 was some of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, and that will never go away. I feel like DC will probably replace that for me. I think MCU, I'm gonna just wait and see with this one, because I would love to see more Rocket Raccoon, more Rocket Raccoon, Groot, and the rest of the Guardians. I'd love to see that new Guardians, but we'll wait and see for MCU and how they do it and how Kevin Feige does that, because I'm still a little worried. But anyway, that's my review, or my full review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Please tell me in the comments how I did, because there are a lot of this was the first full review where, even though I have notes, I have written stuff I want to talk about, I've got all this stuff, I still had stuff where I was stumped at. So please let me know how I did in the comments. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, to Dropped in 3 channel for more on pop culture, entertainment. Well, it pretty much is pop culture entertainment as well as my channel. But to subscribe for more on full reviews like this and also the Dropped in 3 podcast. Thank you very much again. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon. All right. Bye.